Good morning, garden friends. In today's video, I'm just going to walk you around my garden and show you what's going on. I guess you could say this is like a little garden tour update. I'm also going to take you into my backyard garden and show you all the blooms and arbors I have here. But first, let me show you that Eden climbing rose. So of course, I would like to start off with my beautiful Eden climbing rose because I don't know how much longer this is going to be in full bloom, but right now it's absolutely beautiful, and it has bloomed more since my first April front yard garden tour. The thing I love about this Eden climbing rose is the blooms stay on the plant for a very long time. They don't just fade and drop after a couple days. I think it's such a romantic rose, and the petals will start to fall just in time for Mother's Day. It'll look like a little blanket of Eden climbing rose snow on the ground. And in case you didn't see my April front yard garden tour, I mentioned that these are two roses. I got them both at Home Depot for like $12.95. And this is the third year that I've had these two plants. The first year, it kind of slept and established a nice root system. The second year, it creeped. And this is the third year that I've had it. And as you can see, it's leaping. Sleep, creep, and leap is kind of like what vines and climbing roses do. And it's on a rusty arbor. One person asked me if it's a cattle panel, and no, it's just a rusty arbor that I got at my local nursery. I have more of these rusty arbors throughout my garden. See, I have the same rusty arbor right here in the front of my house where I have a star jasmine growing up that. And these are also two plants. And this is also the third year for my jasmine. And it's leaping. I have the same rusty arbor right here in my bird bath garden. And the fourth rusty arbor right here in my water fountain garden. I got them all from the same place. They're all the same size. Everything's the same. I just have them in 4 different locations. Will I get a 5th one? Why not? When I enjoy something in my garden, I love to repeat it. Look at all the strawberries in my whiskey barrels, and my beautiful Gara is starting to bloom. My proven winners, Supertunia Vista Bubblegum, is growing nicely. My yellow gilded sun rose is blooming. Oh my goodness, the garden changes so fast when spring hits. And my beautiful miniature rose, this is blooming as well. That's a Silver Falls dichondra. And my fringe poppies are blooming. Oh, there's so much going on in the garden. And of course, we cannot overlook the beautiful blooms on my proven winners, Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. This is just one plant, and it comes back for me every year. However, I will admit the cabbage moths love them too. So I do have to spray it with BT maybe every week, at least once a month. If I don't, the cabbage moths will completely decimate this plant. But the blooms are beautiful and totally worth having it in my garden. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. My gorgeous bougainvillea or bougainvillea or bougainvillea, however you pronounce it. I really don't care. It is stunning, but there's something about the bougainvillea I must tell you. These are not really flowers at all. These gorgeous blooms are actually called bracts. They're kind of like colored leaves. If you get close to the bougainvillea, that's just how I say it, you'll notice the little teeny tiny yellow center. That's the real flower. This stuff is just like colored leaves. They're called bracts. But I think they're gorgeous and they look so pretty next to that hot pink geranium. There's my cat Cookie enjoying this beautiful weather. And over here, my friends, my hollyhock is blooming too. This year I was really happy I didn't get as much rust on the leaves as previous years. This is the third year that I've had it. And even with the hollyhock, the first year they sleep and they don't produce any flowers. The second year, they creep a little bit and then they bloom. But the third year, this is the third year, it is leaping. Look how tall that is. And hardly any rust. So maybe the hollyhock, as it gets older, it's able to fight off those little pesky diseases. I don't know, but it's really doing good this year. Right above my cat Cookie, I also have 2 arbors made out of cattle panels. This is a much cheaper route to go if you want to add arbors, but don't want to spend the money on those decorative ones. And basically, these 2 arbors were actually 1 cattle panel. It's not more than $60, and I sliced it in half long ways, and I was able to create 2 arbors from it. And this arbor by the bougainvillea, I'm growing a grapevine. I've also grown a passion flower vine on this. You can grow sweet peas, basically anything. They are very, very strong. So in my opinion, it's a great way to make arbors for your garden without breaking the bank. And here's a little backside view of the cattle panels. And I just reinforced them with a little rebar stakes and some zip ties. The rebar stakes go way down into the soil just to kind of give it a little extra added support. But I know a lot of people use T-posts when they put up their arbors. They're also great for the garden, for like cucumbers, and if you want to grow zucchini up an arbor, grow more vertically instead of horizontally, because sometimes we run out of room in the garden. So growing vegetables up these cattle panel arbors is a great way to save space in your garden. So funny, I just went into the backyard to show you my arbors, and I kind of got carried away because there's so much blooming out there. So this is my front yard garden. I really don't film it too often because, well, I didn't think there was too much to see, and maybe part of me might have been a little embarrassed. I don't know. I don't know why us women always do that, right? We always get insecure about silly things. We compare ourselves to others or other gardeners or other people. So I need to quit doing that. So I appreciate all of your beautiful comments in my April garden tour. You said, we loved seeing your front yard. Please show us more. So that's why I'm doing it today. Sorry for rambling on. These are my beautiful snapdragons. What I did was I planted them in the fall so they could establish a good root system. Now comes spring, they're already strong and they're putting on lots of blooms. I did prune these back a little bit, so they were actually bigger not too long ago, but I'm hoping that will revive them. In case you're new to my channel, you may not know this, but I recently put raised vegetable boxes on my front lawn. I actually call this my driveway garden. We just figured it would be so much more fun to have food instead of a lawn. My front lawn is pretty much made up of weeds anyway, so there was really no loss. I got these raised vegetable boxes from Vigo. I paid for them with my own money, so this video is not sponsored. But look at my fringe poppies are blooming. I've learned so much about fringe poppies this year. I actually planted hundreds of them in the middle raised box, and they all came up, but they flopped and they didn't do very well at all. So what I've learned is they do better when they are standing alone. This is just one plant and it's putting on multiple blooms. They don't like to be crowded and they don't like to be watered so much. So I've definitely learned a lot through this experience. So this little water fountain was a solar water fountain, and it's made out of resin. But every time it got algae and I scrubbed it, the paint peeled off and it looked absolutely atrocious. But I didn't want to throw it away. So I got this great idea. What I did is I put a light coat of gray spray paint on it just to touch it up, and then I drilled holes. Underneath each bowl so the water could drain out. And then my daughter and granddaughter and we planted succulents. I absolutely love it. I think it's a great way to make use of an item that otherwise may have been thrown out in the trash. It's a great way to upcycle something and give it new life and new purpose. And that's Lottie the lamb and Petunia the pig. So that's what's going on in my garden today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day in your garden too. Bye.